في آيات بتسب في اليهود. أنا ما أعتقد ذلك.
لا، هو الحقيقة القرآن لا يختلف عن العهد القديم من ناحية الثناء والسب. العهد القديم بيسب في اليهود، في نصوص كتيرة بتسب في اليهود، غليظي الرقبة ومعاندين كتير. في آيات بتمدح نفس الكلام في القرآن، في آيات بتمدح وفي آيات بتقول يعني ان اليهود أخطأوا في كذا وكذا وكذا، عادي جدا. نفس الكلام بالنسبة للمسلمين، في آيات بتسب في العرب، بتسب العرب، وفي آيات بتمدح. Let me explain this. She asked a very, very good question. She said, do you think that the Quran, say,
in some of
the verses, critical of the Jews? Is the Quran critical of the Jews? I said it's not much different.
He's the expert.
I said it's not much different than the Old Testament being critical of the Jews.
Right.
Calling them stiff-necked, calling them, derogatory names. And it's based on their action, not for the race.
Right.
And the same way the Quran does the same thing for the Jews based on their action. It praises them in certain verses and it curses in other verses. And it does the same thing to the Arabs. It praises the Arabs in certain verses and it curses the Arabs in other verses.
Right.
What we did is we converted the Quran into an ethnic book. Sort of like how the Jews said, no, religion is special to us, Yahweh is only ours, that kind of thing. Muslim scholars took that concept and said, no, Allah is special to us. Allah is only Arab. It's not international. And then what they did is to make that spread, they took all the verses that are critical to the Jews and then expounded those. And all the verses that praised the Jews, and then they swept that under the carpet. You sweep something under the carpet so you see it. And then on the other side, what they did is they took all the verses that praise the Arabs and they brought those up. And then they took all the verses that curse and demean the Arabs and they swept those under the carpet. So they converted the book into an Islamic ethnicity instead of a religion. A religion is very balanced. Doesn't care your tribe or your nationality, your skin color, anything like that. But they made it to look that way, and then they started teaching it that way. That's why we're seeing much of the conflicts. Muslims killing other Muslims. Let alone Muslims killing others, but most of the people who suffer are Muslims. So that's what our scholars did, unfortunately. And that's my thesis, is to go counter that. My PhD thesis was gathered and put together to say, wait a second, you have corrupted the Quran. You have accused Jews and Christians of distorting their text. They'll say, no, I'm being honest, You've accused them of being, with distorting their text, and you did the same thing to our text. So, it is time that we stop doing this. It's time that we come to our senses, read our book the way it was intended to be read, which would, if we read it the way it's intended to be read, you can easily describe Islam as a religion of peace. If you read it the way those so-called ulama and fuqaha have written, it's hard to believe that Islam is no longer a religion of peace. It's a religion of war. So that's the answer to the question.
Because what I know is that the Prophet Muhammad married a Jew and married a Christian. And when they asked him, why did you marry a Christian and you married a Jew? He said, I did so Muslim children will have uncles, Jewish uncles and Christian uncles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what can be more model of this, that we can live all in harmony. I mean,
model of harmony.
Okay, now we come to your viewpoint. You said you had a special viewpoint.
Yes, I have a special point.
They didn't bring a spoon.
Do you have a spoon?
There's
One spoon.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Drink it.
Yes, I'm just going to mix. Sugar, and then I will do it right
I was born in a Jewish family.
Yes.
Okay? And I believe no one of us chooses his religion. It's a heritage.
Don't do that.
I might have.
If you go like this.
Okay. I just was rushing to get because you wanted to look like you were rushing to go. Sorry.
Gives you a second to think, formulate.
I might have suffered as a child being a Jew because I saw all my family going away, and I grew up with no family, and it's very important to have a family. Friends are very important, neighbors are very important, but to have an aunt or an uncle or a cousin, it's very important. And these people, they left because of two things. First, because of the establishment of the State of Israel. And secondly, because of the politics of the Arab leaders at that time and the pan-Arabism politics. My father was a humanitarian. He loved humanity. And he taught me to love humanity. And that we are all equal. In front of God, in front of each other, we are all equal. What makes the difference between us is our doings. And we can all live together. Since I was a child, I never learned to make a difference between black, white, poor, rich.
Ashkenazi, Sephardi.
I didn't know. I've learned this later on.
Carrot and rabbinite.
Never.
There you go. Yeah.
Never.
You see?
I have to get that in there, sorry.
So
Haredi and
I think that in the
I want to get your smile.
20th century, and the same applies to other traditions. You cannot establish a state based on religion, only on religion. It is impossible. It could have been possible in the 5th century, but on the 20th century.
The world is so small and people are able to communicate easily.
And then that Israel says that it's the country of all Jews. No, it's not my country. I don't speak Hebrew. I am Egyptian. Jewish living in France, and a French Jew is French. When they say this, they remove some of our integrity and identity. No, I don't identify to Israel. Sorry, with all your respect.
Sure, we respect your views.
We're different views.
I'm very proud of being a Jew, although I'm not religious. I'm not.
Culture, you're a cultural Jew.
It's my culture. It's my heritage. I respect it, like I respect my name, and I will never change my religion for anything. I will give you an example. My first husband was Muslim, and I had 2 daughters. Still have them. Thank God.
Be healthy.
Amen.
Amen.
A lot of nachas.
And one of them has a very Muslim name. Her name is Hibatullah. And the other name is Hannah. The other one is Hannah.
Yeah.
But when I separated from my husband, I was legally I didn't have the custody of the children because I'm not Muslim.
I see.
And my father asked me, He said, you cannot, he told me, you cannot live with the threat that he comes and takes your daughters anytime. I will not be angry if you change your religion to keep your daughters. Especially that he didn't do his father, he didn't take his father's responsibility. I mean, financially, whenever I talked to him, I said, I cannot afford the expenses of the girls on my own. Okay, if you can't, I'll take them.
Yes, some fathers do that. Yeah.
Of course.
So I had to shut up, and my father told me, if you want, change your religion, so you won't live under the threat that he will take your daughters from you. And I said no. And I lived until they reached the majority with the threat that they could be taken from me anytime.
Were they taken away from her?
No.
Thank God.
Baruch Hashem. Alhamdulillah.
Now, they're in college now. They're
One of them is working at the Egyptian Museum. She studied restoration, archaeological restoration, and she's looking at the Egyptian Museum. And the other one is doing a master's in clinical psychology.
Have they chosen, since they come from two religions, have they chosen one of them for themselves? Or?
Look, my second husband was Catholic.
So
we are the only house in Egypt with three religions living under one roof.
All three
traditions,
monotheistic Western religions. Wow.
And we celebrate Ramadan, we celebrate Christmas, and Hanukkah, Pesach. It's always holidays in our house.
Like the holidays.
We eat a lot.
you have more holidays now.
Yeah.
That's one positive way to look at it.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, with
silver
we
lining.
assimilate, you don't necessarily reject one faith
Right.
and embrace one faith, but you can celebrate both faces.
Right.
Wow, amazing.
Or in this case, all three.
But just out of curiosity, just to, if someone asks you what religion you are, you say, I'm Jewish, I'm Catholic.
It's written on my ID.
Right. With your two daughters, just out of curiosity, if they would say, all three religions, or one of them, which one would they say?
Was it a Muslim?
Jewish.
They say I believe in God.
Wow. Abraham.
Yeah. You see, God fears is what we need. People who fear God is what we need.
Your Hashem? That was the term I gave you from Amir.
Yeah.
Amir.
Yeah, what is it?
You know, my father did not do the prayer. I remember my grandfather doing his prayer 3 times a day and doing the
Tefillin.
the tefillin, and in the morning I used to watch him and
Legible writing.
and my father did not pray, and we did not learn religion at school. The Christian had religion courses, and the Muslim had. And I used to go and stay with at the Notre Corner. And one day I told my father, this girl knows what to do, not to upset God. And this girl knows what to do, not to upset God. How do I know that I don't upset God?
Thank you.
So he took me into the bathroom and he put me in front of the mirror and he said, look at yourself. If your eyes go down because you're ashamed of something you've done, then God will be upset with you.
Wow, that's a story.
You got to distribute mirrors in your shul back in Israel. Or to all the students, give them a mirror, put it in the pocket. And just tell them, okay, look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Wow.
Are you okay with this? Just put it back. Okay.
Because it's not
practical.
People
I'm
pray
inspired by your father.
5 times a day, or 3 times a day, or I don't know how many times a day, and they go steal and kill and disrespect people, disrespect the country.
Wow. I'm now a pupil of your father. This is one of the most amazing, inspiring things.
He was an amazing man, not because he's my father.
Yeah, definitely.
I must introduce myself. اسمي يوسف رينجن. أنا درست في التاريخ اليهود في العالم الإسلامية. Explaining my background as I studied the history of Jews in the Islamic world, and specifically Egypt. I did papers on Egypt, and I know Egyptian Jews, some of whom were expelled, some of whom have very traumatic, but also very strong memories of Egypt. I'm friends with Hakam Hamawi, and I was part of this congregation in Boston. You may know who he is, Hakam Hamawi. But he grew up in Egypt, and he lived in France, and he knows, like you, French, Arabic, Hebrew, Spanish, English, multilingual. I know so many people like this, and it was what I loved about the history was such a beautiful culture. Egypt was a refuge for Jews from Yemen and Jews from Russia. You had Ashkenazim who spoke Yiddish. You had Sephardim from Turkey and Syria. You had the Mizrahim who have been here for many, many generations. You had Italians, and you had also you had even Karaites and Rabbinites. And they got along at the end of when they got along in the 1940s and 50s. You know about this.
Look,
I'll
tell you something.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying the Karaites and the Rabbinites. I mean, you nodded specifically.
Egypt was the land of I don't know how to say it in English.
The land of Moses.
No.
The founder of the Sharia.
She's going.
Egypt has been always the land of the refuge for people suffering around the world.
It's the crossroads of civilization.
It's the crossroads of civilization. And look at Ibn Maymun. Ibn Maymun was supposed to go from Spain. He was supposed to go to Palestine.
To Jerusalem.
Stopped,
He did. And then he came here.
He came here and he stayed here and he died here. I mean, it was people loved to come to Egypt and live in Egypt. The Jewish community was. It's easy in the 50s when the population of Egypt was 20 million. Yes, 20 million. 20 million. You had between 80 and 100,000 Jews in Egypt.
Nowadays, how many?
We are six.
Six what? 1,000?
6 Jews.
6 Jews.
6 Jews.
6,000?
6? No, 6. Just 6.
I know, it's hard for me to understand. Six Jews in the entire...
In the entire country.
Oh,
Six,
yeah.
so you mean Hamza,
Yes.
on two hands?
So can I just ask, if you don't mind?
And I am the youngest. They are all 80 and above.
So I'm going to ask you then just 3 or 4 questions, and you can
But
answer.
officially, a daughter should be Jewish because she's Hibatullah. Her mom is Jewish.
That's right. According to Halakha.
Halakha. This is the rabbi here. She's Muslim and Jewish. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what is important in the thing?
The heritage.
Well,
so
The heritage, no, they have a huge heritage.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So,
they have a huge heritage.
So here's my brings up so many things. First of all, can you describe, after I'll ask a series of questions and then can you describe the community now? I mean, it's wonderful. I see all of the Ben Ezra synagogue was so emotional for me. I got a chance to pray there. It was so emotional. I cannot even tell you. It almost brings tears to my eyes how emotional it was. And takes care of its synagogue so beautifully. But there's obviously this demographic concern for the future. What do you see as the biggest challenges for the community now? That's one. 2, do you want me to bring back messages? Rebecca as well, she also has connections to Egyptian Jews. Do you need anything from them? Do you want to contact them? Do you want them to come here and you can go there?
I will tell you something.
Okay.
For the heritage.
Okay.
Maybe 3 years ago, the young generation, the generation of my daughters and younger, and even older, Jews in Egypt.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't.
They didn't know.
No, my predecessor made sure
Yeah.
that we live in the dark.
About this issue.
About the issue.
Yeah.
That and when she passed away 3 years ago, first of all, there was a beautiful documentary that was made by an Egyptian artist. Amir.
Yeah, I know it. I showed it to I teach Jews and Jewish-Islamic relations. I taught it at Maryland and I showed it to my class.
The beautiful film,
Yeah.
a documentary. It was the first time in the history of the movie theater that they screen a documentary on a movie theater. Usually you see them in cultural clubs and stuff like that. And it was during the reign of the Muslim Brotherhood.
And I remember.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the first time I happened to appear on television.
During
No, it was when Dr. Asam al-Ariel made a statement inviting Jews to come back. Jews who left Egypt and went to Israel to come back to Egypt.
Yeah.
And they asked me to
comment on that.
comment on that.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of
I
that, this is my book, The Missing Piece, and it invites, part of it invites Jews of Egyptian origins to come back. But it invites the government to make it possible for them to come back and prosper and live in peace here and re-establish the community. Because as a Muslim scholar, I see tremendous value for Egypt first, for Arabs second, and for Muslims worldwide, that these Jewish communities are re-established. Because our conflict is not with the Jewish people. Our conflict has never been with the Jewish people. Yes. And religion is being used to inflame.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna ask you to bring down a copy of a small book that my.
Your father did in Arabic? Yeah. I love that.
So what did he say in response when you were on television to quote
I
Omar?
said thank you for opening the Pandora box.
Yeah.
We are going to talk. It's very difficult for Jews who have been tear out, like you tear out a tooth from its roots.
Yes.
To grow roots again. These people have left and they throw the roots in other countries, wherever it is.
I understand.
The children,
Their grandparents' tombs are here. They're still in their grandparents?
they're not.
Their great grandparents?
They're not? What do you mean, why?
What do you mean?
Why aren't they here?
No, they are no more here.
No, he
Why?
said
The tombs.
graveyards.
They're graveyards.
The graveyard.
What happened?
Some are here, some are
No.
No.
What happened to them?
The cemeteries are in a very bad shape. The Jewish cemetery, the land was given to us, to the Jewish community of Egypt, في سنة 400 هجرية.
Yes.
It means more than 1,000 years.
Yes.
Now it's slums. I hope that by the time I go, there will still be a place where I can be there. And I begged the Jewish communities around the world, the Americans, the Egyptians,
To restore these areas, to maintain.
to preserve this area because it's part of the heritage.
And they said
It's the
no.
history of this country. It's my history. It's the history of my
So this is a
daughter.
project for you now.
And
What did they say?
they say they offered, and there is a petition circulating now in the media. No, in the media. They they want something in return.
Oh.
What do they want?
So they're not giving money to reserve for free.
No.
They want their name put on it.
They want the Torahs.
What do you mean?
They want to get the Torahs because they're afraid they will go into disuse.
What all the Torahs that are here?
The Torah scrolls.
We have,
You want some scrolls in return?
That's what they said. That's what she said. They said wanted.
we don't have, they say that we have 150 scrolls. No, we don't have.
How many do you have?
I will show you the ones we have.
That's it? Even
Yeah.
the Ben Ezra and all they don't have any scrolls?
In the Ben Ezra, they have one with...
One we saw.
But let's just say there are 10 scrolls.
Okay, so let's say 10 Torah
They
scrolls.
should not come.
They should not go out. Why should they go out?
No, this is a
Because they
sensitive...
said they are made to be used for
Used.
prayers, not to be put in a museum.
Right.
No,
No, this
they
is
will
just a
stay in
bogus.
our synagogues.
Yeah,
I support that.
This,
They
And when the
will
Jews
stay-
come back to Egypt, they
okay,
worship
so
based on the Torah.
this is a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
And this is... I don't know that I would be the best person to parse out these negotiations.
Yeah.
But I think this is what happens when you have these kinds of tragic and horrible crimes committed when people are expelled. Because the descendants say, we are in a living community, we want to use them. Why should they, right? We want to use them, they're ours. Right?
Wait a second.
Oh, wait, just wait.
No,
wait.
no.
And then you say, no, wait a minute, this is ours, this is our heritage. It needs to
You're
stay.
saying, let me just clarify, because I missed
Yeah.
something maybe. You're
Yeah.
saying that members of the Jewish community outside of Egypt want
Right,
the Torah
yeah.
scrolls.
Yeah.
You've only got 6 Jews here, but you don't want to give up the Torah scrolls.
No.
That's right. Because it's theirs, and they want it for either the Egyptian heritage or the heritage of whatever Jews
And
are
when they
here.
say, and when they say, who are you to decide of the Jewish heritage? Come on, I'm the only one who's still here.
Right.
Who stood up
But
for
what
the
about
cause?
also
And it was not easy for us to stay here.
don't tourists
Right.
need the Torah
Right.
scrolls? I mean, there should be more than a reason for a thriving community. I mean,
Right.
okay, I'm just
I will tell you
asking.
something.
Yeah.
I will tell you something. It's like, it's very disproportionate, the example that I'm going to say. It's like Daesh destroying the monuments in Iraq.
For you to
Wiping
lose
off
the Torah scrolls would be another huge loss, and you just made it would be a tremendous loss.
Part of
It
it. Part of
is
Egypt.
wiping out our presence.
Right. Okay. Okay. We fully understand.
That's international government wants it.
You explained it very
You
nicely.
explained it very, very well.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay.
Talking about the cemetery, I talked to the AGC. I was invited in their department when I became the president of the Jewish community, and I talked to spoke with the American embassy, and I told them the Jewish cemetery now is in the middle of slums. I cannot gather money and build a wall,
Right.
a huge wall, to separate
The slums from
the slums from the if something should be done, a huge project to develop the slums, educate these people, give them infrastructure, give them schools, give them in the name of the Jewish of the world,
Okay.
help them to have a better life. They will preserve the cemetery without wars.
So I mean, what does bother me about these whole is that the kind of using one against the other. It shouldn't be dependent on the other.
It shouldn't be linked.
They should be one. They should be in my. I mean, again, I kind of feel like I should say something, but I'm not part of it. But it just seems to me, from a logical perspective, they should want their ancestors' graves to be preserved, irrespective of the Torahs. Two separate issues. Two separate issues. You can negotiate.
They're not doing you a favor.
You can negotiate about the Torahs. If you have 6 Torah scrolls or whatever you have, you can keep 3 and then give 3 to the others, or whatever it is. Whatever, you can negotiate a compromise. You can negotiate a compromise with the.
When I die,
Yeah.
they will do whatever they want.
Right.
As long as I'm alive,
You should
nothing
live.
is
live
going
many
out
years.
of Egypt.
But there's no compromise.
As long as
on
I
keeping
live.
graves.
Do you think they should give up the Torah? What do you think?
What?
Do you think they should give up the Torah in Egypt?
The Torah scrolls.
I think it's important to... I'm not part. I feel this is a people have devoted their life. You've devoted your life.
Yeah.
Other people were here. I feel I'm an outsider. Even though I'm Jewish, but this is not my issue.
No, I understand. If you were in her shoes, would you give up the Torah?
No, I think that I think what he's trying to say is that because we can't be in her shoes, we're not in her. Right? So what I would say is that
Zionism.
No, Omar, let's go to the next.
Please, you asked me a question. You asked me a question. I'm saying that it's not in
But before I asked the question, I made a statement. I told you that Zionism wants
No, you asked
the Torah's out of here.
Excuse me, you asked the question first. Okay, I wasn't.
Like they did with the tourists that came out of Iran.
Okay,
Just a second.
what I am saying is that these are complicated issues that they, as Egyptian Jews, need to decide amongst themselves. We cannot get involved. All I was pointing out was that it should not relate to the grades. The grades are a separate issue.
I understand.
I'm
I'm not asking about the grades.
Because listen, I'm not going to because it's not my place. The grades, the Torahs, they can and should come to an understanding at their leisure and at their however it's going to. That's not our business. What our business is, preserving of Jewish grades, that should be an independent issue. It should not be independent on the other.
You did not answer the question. You answered the wrong question.
Because I'm not going to answer that question because I am not part of the community. It's not my place.
No, it is not a matter. Sorry, it is not a matter.
No. Just a second.
It is.
It is not a matter of grades or Torah.
I'm not going to
It should not be connected.
It's a matter of history.
Right.
Jews have been here in Egypt since Moses, and if we don't keep this memory, especially this recent memory, alive,
Then they will not know about Jews.
our history is
Exactly.
What other
It's not in
messages?
favor of our
Magda,
country.
let me tell you something. Zionism would like to see the Torahs out of here. Let me just be honest. That's why they object to me raising this. Zionism would like all Jews to go to Israel.